Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Anne Burrell, the spirited culinary icon with a trademark platinum blonde crown and an infectious laugh, brought light and flavor into homes across America for decades. Best known as the charismatic host of Worst Cooks in America and the star of Secrets of a Restaurant Chef, Anne's voice, loud, warm, and full of heart, became a familiar presence at the dinner table for millions. Anne passed away at the age of 55 at her Brooklyn home on June 17, 2025. She was found unresponsive by her husband, Stuart Claxton, in the early morning hours, and despite efforts from emergency responders, she could not be revived. Authorities reported the discovery of medications nearby, and while the final cause remains under review, the suddenness of her passing sent shockwaves through both the culinary and entertainment communities. Born and raised in upstate New York, Anne's love for cooking began in her mother's kitchen and blossomed under the influence of Julia Child. She earned a communications degree before pursuing her culinary dreams at the prestigious Culinary Institute of America. From there, Anne rose through the ranks in top-tier New York kitchens like Felidia and Savoy, mastering Mediterranean cuisine and making her mark with bold flavors and even bolder personality. But it was on television where Anne truly came alive. She was not only a brilliant chef, she was a teacher, a motivator, and a friend to those who feared the kitchen. With her tough love mentorship, witty comebacks, and genuine encouragement, she transformed cooking from a chore into a celebration. Her career spanned nearly 3 decades, with appearances on Chopped, Chef Wanted, and Food Network Star, and her cookbooks Cook Like a Rock Star and Own Your Kitchen became staples in home kitchens everywhere. Off-screen, Anne found personal joy in her marriage to Stuart and her role as stepmother. She adored her family and friends fiercely, always uplifting those around her. As tributes pour in from colleagues and fans alike, one thing remains clear: Anne Burrell was a force, fierce, funny, and full of heart. Her legacy lives on in every laugh she sparked, every dish she inspired, and every home cook who ever dared to own their kitchen. Dan Storper, the visionary founder of Putumayo World Music, passed away on May 22nd in New Orleans at age 74 after a courageous battle with pancreatic cancer. His extraordinary life journey, from selling handcrafted textiles in New York to introducing millions to the vibrant sounds of distant cultures, stands as a testament to the power of passion, perseverance, and a generous heart. Born in Manhattan in May 1951, Dan grew up on Long Island before studying Latin American culture at Washington University in St. Louis. His early travels in Colombia awakened a deep appreciation for global artistry. In 1975, he launched a boutique named Putumayo after the river in southwestern Colombia, offering handmade goods and textiles. But it was a serendipitous moment in 1991, upon hearing Nigerian juju music in San Francisco, that changed everything. Determined to share this rich tapestry of sound, he teamed up with Michael Krauss and launched the Putumayo World Music label in 1993. Under Dan's leadership, Putumayo introduced over 400 albums of carefully curated global music, from Congolese soukous and Cuban sun to the rhythms of Brazil, Cape Verde, and beyond. With whimsical folk art covers and accessible packaging, his compilations sold more than 35 million CDs worldwide. Cuba, one of their flagship titles, alone surpassed 1 million copies and helped fuel a salsa renaissance. By placing CDs in cafes, bookstores, museum shops, and even airport kiosks, not just record stores, Dan ingeniously expanded the audience for world music. He once said, "Business can be a force for positive change," and he lived that belief. For decades, he crisscrossed the globe, sometimes living out of a suitcase, scouting undiscovered musical talents and weaving stories that connected the listener's heart to a distant community. Even after stepping back from the retail side in the late 1990s and moving operations to New Orleans, Dan remained tireless, speaking, mentoring, and donating his vast archive to Harvard and the A-Archive of Contemporary Music. Dan Storper's legacy is one of boundless curiosity, cultural respect, and a belief that music has the power to unite us all. He showed the world that a small CD can open a window onto humanity, and that a life lived with purpose can reverberate across continents. He is survived by his son William and daughters Sarah and Barbara. Breaking news. He rose to global fame with a goblet in one hand and wit sharper than any sword in the other. But behind the scenes, did Peter Dinklage fight a far more personal and lifelong battle no camera ever caught? Welcome to Who Died Today, USA. In today's episode, we explore the life of a man who redefined what it means to be a leading man in Hollywood, not by towering over his co-stars, but by towering over expectations. You know him as Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones, but his real story is one of resistance, resilience, and a quiet war waged against an industry and a world that too often judged him by inches instead of intellect. So tell us, when you think of Peter Dinklage, do you see the Emmy-winning actor, or the child who grew up with a condition that told him he would never belong? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because what you are about to hear may just change how you see courage forever. Born June 11, 1969, in Morristown, New Jersey, Peter Hayden Dinklage entered the world already labeled different. Diagnosed with achondroplasia, a genetic condition that affects bone growth, Peter's physical stature never passed 4 feet 5 inches. But what he lacked in height, he more than made up for in vision. From a young age, Peter was drawn not just to acting, but to characters with emotional complexity and purpose. He did not want to play the jester, the elf, or the caricature that so many people with dwarfism were typecast into. He wanted truth, and he was willing to wait for it, even if that meant years of rejection. After graduating from Bennington College in Vermont with a degree in drama, Dinklage moved to New York City, where he lived in a rundown apartment with no heat, barely scraping by while refusing to take any role that would reduce him to a visual punchline. It was a painful choice, one that cost him work, agents, and sometimes hope. But it was a choice he never compromised on. "I knew that if I ever gave in and took one of those degrading roles," he later said, "that would be the role people remembered. That would be the box I'd never escape." Then came 2003. A small, independent film titled The Station Agent Changed Everything. Dinklage played Finbar McBride, a reclusive man who inherits a train depot in rural New Jersey. The film did not exploit his stature. Instead, it celebrated his silence, his sorrow, his humanity. Audiences were captivated, critics took notice, and Hollywood finally began to listen. But it was not until 2011 that Peter Dinklage became a household name. That year, HBO's Game of Thrones premiered, and with it, a character that would forever change how fantasy, politics, and power were portrayed on screen. Tyrion Lannister, the so-called imp, was unlike anything television had seen before. Witty, brilliant, wounded, and deeply human, Tyrion was the soul of a brutal world, and Peter Dinklage was its beating heart. Across 8 seasons, Dinklage brought Tyrion to life with raw authenticity. His portrayal earned him 4 Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe, and the distinction of being the only actor to appear in every season of the show. But beyond the accolades, it gave him something deeper: vindication. For every door that had been slammed in his face, every casting director who said no, he now had the final word. And yet, behind the glory, Peter's journey was never without weight. Living with achondroplasia is not just a physical challenge, it is a daily, often invisible struggle. The condition can lead to chronic pain, joint complications, and spinal issues. Though Dinklage rarely speaks publicly about these challenges, those who have worked with him note his quiet perseverance. The long days on set, the physical demands of costuming and travel, and the unspoken battles he carries with grace. He has also carried the burden of representation. As perhaps the most visible actor with dwarfism in the world, Dinklage is often called upon to speak for an entire community. In 2022, he did just that, when he criticized Disney's live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. He called out the contradiction of casting a Latina actress in the lead for diversity, while still perpetuating what he called a backward story about seven dwarfs living in a cave. The comment sparked backlash. Some felt Dinklage was speaking only for himself. Others praised his bravery for challenging old narratives. But for Peter, the message was clear. Progress should never come at the expense of dignity. Just because you are doing something new on the surface does not mean you are doing something new at the core, he said. Away from the spotlight, Peter Dinklage lives a quieter life with his wife, Erica Schmidt, a respected playwright and theater director, and their two children. He is notoriously private, choosing to keep his family out of the public eye. What we do know is that their relationship is grounded in mutual artistry and deep respect. Erica has directed several successful productions, and Peter has often said she is the most talented person he knows. Despite his fame, he still gravitates toward the stage. After Game of Thrones, Dinklage returned to his roots in theater, starring in Cyrano, a musical adaptation of Cyrano de Bergerac. In this role, he sang live, performed complex emotions, and again redefined the leading man. This time, not with a sword, but with a soul. It was another reminder. Peter Dinklage never sought to be normal. He sought to be meaningful. As for his health, he continues to manage the demands of his condition with the same resilience that has defined his career. While he has avoided discussing specific treatments, it is clear that maintaining strength, energy, and endurance requires intention. His physical limitations may be real, but they have never been the limits of his character. At film festivals and award shows, Peter is often seen quietly smiling at the edge of the crowd. He does not chase headlines. He does not hunger for fame. Instead, he lets his work speak. And what it says, again and again, is that worth is never measured in inches. It is measured in integrity, talent, and truth. So where is Peter Dinklage now? Still working, still choosing roles that matter, still refusing to be boxed in. Whether it is voice work in animation, indie film, or theater under dim lights, Peter continues to rewrite what is possible for those the world once overlooked. And now, we ask you, when you remember Peter Dinklage, what stands out to you? Is it the cunning wit of Tyrion Lannister, the quiet defiance of Finbar McBride, or the real man behind the scenes who carried a lifelong condition, 1,000 rejections, and still rose to become one of the greatest actors of his generation? Let us know in the comments. And if his story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share this tribute. Because Peter Dinklage has never fit the mold, and that is exactly why his legacy will never be forgotten. Chris Robinson was never just a soap star. He was a presence, a comfort, and a constant in the living rooms of America. Born in West Palm Beach, Florida in 1938, Chris lived a life filled with the kind of roles that stay with you. From his early breakout in 12 O'Clock High to his decades-spanning portrayal of Dr. Rick Webber on General Hospital, Chris brought a rare authenticity to every scene. He wasn't playing a doctor, he was the doctor so many of us grew up trusting on screen. In a time before streaming, before endless channels, Chris Robinson was part of a cherished routine. Afternoon stories, dramatic turns, and the quiet charm of a man who made it all feel real. His line from a Vicks commercial, "I'm not a doctor, but I do play one on TV," became part of pop culture, a wink to the audience who knew exactly who he was. But Chris's journey wasn't without hardship. In 1985, he faced legal troubles, yet remained a fixture on General Hospital, fulfilling his sentence while continuing to work. That kind of perseverance, that sense of duty to his craft and audience, never wavered. His work extended beyond daytime drama. From The Bold and the Beautiful to independent films well into his 80s, Chris showed us that passion doesn't fade with time. His final performance in 2022's Just for a Week was a fitting end to a career filled with quiet brilliance. Chris Robinson passed away peacefully in his sleep on June 9, 2025, at his Arizona ranch, surrounded by love. The cause was heart failure, but nothing could dim the warmth he gave to so many. He leaves behind his beloved wife, Jackie, 6 sons, 5 grandchildren, and generations of fans who felt like they knew him. In a world of fleeting fame, Chris gave us something lasting. Thank you, Chris, for the comfort, the consistency, and the stories that still linger in our hearts. James Lowe wasn't just the frontman of the Electric Prunes. He was the pulse of a movement that dared to dream out loud. In the haze of the 1960s, when sound was evolving and boundaries were meant to be broken, James stepped onto the scene with a voice that shimmered like stardust. With "I Had Too Much to Dream" last night, his band didn't just enter the charts, they cracked open a new dimension in music. Fuzz guitars, reversed tape, that unforgettable opening. It was strange, bold, and beautiful, just like James. But his story was never just about fame, it was about ideas. After the original Electric Prunes disbanded, James didn't cling to the spotlight. He moved behind the scenes, becoming a skilled producer and engineer, guiding artists like Todd Rundgren and Sparks, and proving his genius wasn't limited to the stage. And then, just when the world might have forgotten, James returned. With the same passion, he revived the Prunes in the 2000s, not out of nostalgia, but because he still had something to say. With every show, every record, he reminded audiences that the magic never left. He lived as he created, freely. With Pamela, his muse and wife of 62 years, with music always in the air. And when he took his final breath on May 22, 2025, at 82, it was quiet, natural, yet entirely poetic. His heart, his family said, gave one last electric beat, surrounded by love and sound. James Lowe didn't chase trends, he chased wonder. He built songs like dreamscapes. He made the weird feel right and the unexpected feel inevitable. He was one of the last of his kind, an artist, a rebel, a true original. If a Prunes song ever made you feel seen, or strange, or alive, tell us below. Let's honor the man who made dreaming out loud feel like music. Ken Flores had a laugh that could fill a room and a presence that made strangers feel like old friends. Born in Aurora, Illinois, Ken's path wasn't paved with ease, but it was lit by courage and charisma. From early days of filming YouTube videos to finding his voice on stage during an open mic night in California, comedy didn't just become his calling, it became his purpose. He once shared that performing helped him leave behind destructive habits and gave him a life worth fighting for. And fight he did, with humor, heart, and humility. In his short yet remarkable career, Ken became a rising star in the stand-up scene. He was the creative force behind Latin XL, a platform born from late-night conversations and a dream to open doors for Latino comedians and reshape the comedy landscape. That show, and the love behind it, would not have existed without him. The XL wasn't just a nod to his size, but to the extra-large personality that made audiences across the country roar with laughter. In December 2024, Ken recorded his first comedy special. By January, he was in the middle of his national Butterfly Effect tour, spreading joy and connection wherever he went. But on January 28, 2025, Ken's vibrant journey came to an end. His family later confirmed he passed away at home from cardiac arrest, a sudden, unexpected pause in a life that still had so much to say. He was only 28. To many, Ken Flores was a comic. To more, he was hope, proof that transformation is possible, that laughter can heal, and that community can lift us higher. Ken, thank you for the joy, the honesty, and the unforgettable stories. You weren't just funny, you were needed, and you always will be. Dave Scott, a beloved choreographer and creative visionary, was born on August 15, 1972, in Compton, California. From an early age, he was captivated by rhythm and movement, drawing inspiration from Michael Jackson and the groundbreaking films Breakin' and Beat Street. Though he began college on a basketball scholarship, it was on the dance floor of a Utah club that his life's calling found him. Discovered while dancing, a moment that sparked a journey marked by perseverance, heart, and extraordinary talent. Without formal dance training, Dave climbed an uphill path in an industry where few succeed. His drive, authenticity, and deep understanding of hip-hop culture helped him break through. He quickly became a sought-after choreographer, best known for his work on iconic dance films like You Got Served, Stomp the Yard, and Step Up to the Streets. His creativity also lit up television on So You Think You Can Dance and Dancing with the Stars, where he helped countless performers discover their own light. Dave's life wasn't without challenges. Behind the spotlight, he quietly faced personal health struggles. Those close to him have not shared the details, but it is known that his passing on June 16, 2025, at the age of 52, was related to these long-standing health issues. Despite this, he never let adversity dull his spirit or his commitment to uplifting others through dance. What truly set Dave apart was the warmth and encouragement he gave to everyone he worked with. He mentored rising stars, gave confidence to the unsure, and inspired audiences worldwide. Tributes from friends and artists speak of a man who led with love, moved with purpose, and created with soul. Dave Scott's legacy is not only in the routines he choreographed, but in the lives he shaped. His art lives on in every step danced, every rhythm felt, and every heart he touched. Joey D. Vieira, a cherished figure in American television history, was born on April 8, 1944, in Los Angeles, California. As a child, he stepped into the hearts of viewers across the nation when he portrayed the lovable Sylvester "Porky" Brockway in the first 4 seasons of the beloved CBS series Lassie. Donning his iconic beanie, Porky became a symbol of innocence, friendship, and rural adventure, a reflection of post-war America's yearning for simpler times. Joey's path to television fame began early. With deep family ties to Hollywood, his aunt was legendary musical star Ruby Keeler. He made his screen debut at age 9. Yet it was Lassie, with its Emmy-winning charm and enduring legacy, that brought Joey into millions of homes and made him a household name. Despite his early fame, Joey's journey was not without difficulty. The pressures of repeating lines, playing similar roles, and navigating the challenges of child stardom took their toll. In a candid moment, he once reflected on his decision to step back, saying he had grown weary of being seen as just the kid in the beanie. He spent time in England, returned with new perspective, and continued acting on his own terms, appearing in memorable films like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Patriot, and Red Heat. Throughout his life, Joey remained connected to storytelling. He explored music production, directing, and worked behind the scenes on commercials and corporate films. Though the spotlight dimmed, his passion never wavered. In recent years, he faced health challenges with grace, spending his final days in hospice care, surrounded by those he loved. Joey passed peacefully just minutes before his 81st birthday on April 7, 2025. The news was shared by his longtime friend and Lassie co-star John Provost. He is survived by his daughter Shannon and fondly remembered by generations who grew up with him. His legacy endures in the joy he brought to screens and the gentle strength he showed throughout his life. Betsy Gay, a radiant talent from Hollywood's golden era, passed peacefully on June 13, 2025, in Bakersfield, California, at the age of 96. Her journey through the worlds of film and music began at just 6 years old, when she joined the beloved Our Gang series, later known as The Little Rascals, where she portrayed Effie, the charming girlfriend of Alfalfa. From 1935 to 1938, Betsy's youthful spirit and expressive performances lit up the screen. She appeared in over 40 films during her childhood, including classics like Tom Sawyer, Mystery Plane, and Our Gang Follies of 1938. Her career flourished during a time when Hollywood looked to fresh young faces to bring innocence and mischief to life, and Betsy did so with grace and charm that captured hearts across generations. In 1941, her path took a musical turn when she was invited to perform in a Columbia Pictures short and discovered a gift for yodeling, a rare and delightful talent she embraced with enthusiasm. Her voice quickly earned recognition, winning the California State Yodeling Championship in both 1945 and 1946. Betsy became a fixture on radio shows and music programs, recording with top labels like Capitol and Decca, and even sharing the stage with legends such as Johnny Cash and the Everly Brothers. Despite her success, Betsy's life was not without quiet strength and resilience. She transitioned from child stardom to a dynamic career in music and entertainment, all while raising a family of 5 with her husband, Thomas Cashin, whom she married in 1954. In her later years, Betsy remained connected to her roots, attending the final Little Rascals reunion in 2014. Her friend Robert Satterfield, who announced her passing, remembered her fondly, stating simply, "She will be deeply missed." Betsy Gay leaves behind a legacy of joy, versatility, and perseverance, a life that spanned nearly a century and touched countless hearts through film, music, and the warm memories of a childhood spent on screen. Rosanna Norton, the brilliant costume designer behind some of Hollywood's most unforgettable looks, passed away on May 7, 2025, in Los Angeles, surrounded by family. She was 80. Her passing followed a brave journey with cancer, one she faced with the same grace and determination that defined her extraordinary career. Born in Los Angeles on October 1, 1944, Rosanna was surrounded by creativity from the beginning. Her mother, a respected poet, her father, an architect. While studying painting at UCLA, she discovered a new canvas in the world of film, where she met her husband, filmmaker Bill Norton. What began as a passion for art quickly grew into a trailblazing career in costume design. Rosanna's artistry shaped some of cinema's most iconic moments. She designed Sissy Spacek's haunting prom dress for Carrie, a soft, pale pink gown that became a symbol of innocence and terror. In 1982, she was nominated for an Academy Award for her work on Tron, a groundbreaking film that redefined visual storytelling. From Badlands to the Flintstones, her imagination dressed decades of characters in stories both wild and whimsical. Though Hollywood often demands glamour, Rosanna's creativity thrived on resourcefulness. She famously recalled shopping for vintage prom dresses at a clothing store in the Valley, transforming budget limitations into lasting style. Her costumes were more than fabric and thread. They were extensions of the characters themselves, carefully imagined to enhance each story's emotional truth. Beyond her 50-plus film credits, Rosanna was a cherished mentor in the Costume Designers Guild, nurturing the next generation with warmth and generosity. After retiring, she returned to her first love, painting, continuing to express beauty in every brushstroke. She leaves behind 2 children, 5 grandchildren, and a legacy stitched into the very fabric of film history. Rosanna Norton will be remembered not just for what she created, but for the light, elegance, and vision she brought to every scene she touched. Michael Chicago Mike Sumler, a vibrant spirit behind the scenes and on stage with the legendary Kool and the Gang, passed away on May 25, 2025, at the age of 71, following a tragic automobile accident in Mableton, Georgia. His presence in the world of music was defined by heart, humor, and undeniable energy that elevated every performance he touched. Sumler's journey with Kool and the Gang began in the mid-1980s, not as a performer but as a stylist and wardrobe valet. His eye for style and dynamic personality quickly made him a staple within the group. With time and a bit of serendipity, the Chicago native moved from backstage to spotlight, energizing audiences as a charismatic opener and backup vocalist during the band's high-powered shows. Known affectionately as Chicago Mike, Sumler was more than a supporting member. He was a cherished heartbeat of the band's live energy. Whether hyping the crowd with dance moves or coordinating the group's signature look, his enthusiasm was infectious and his contributions deeply valued. From 2000 to 2015, he was a consistent presence on stage, later assisting with special events and keeping close ties with the band. Beyond the music, Sumler's story is one of perseverance and passion. He began with a local Chicago band, Power Pack, before catching the attention of Kool and the Gang's team. His talent, warmth, and dedication earned him a place not just in the lineup, but in the hearts of fans and fellow performers alike. Following the news of his passing, tributes poured in from the band and the city of Mableton, honoring him as a music legend whose joyful spirit will be deeply missed. Kool and the Gang remembered him fondly, noting, "Mike made sure the guys looked their best and brought the energy every night." Michael Sumler leaves behind a legacy of performance, friendship, and flair, a testament to a life lived fully in rhythm with the music he loved. Keller Forns, a gifted young actor whose spirit, talent, and warmth touched everyone he worked with, passed away on December 19, 2024, in Eastland, Texas. He was 32. A rising star on the Great American Family Channel's Drama County Rescue, Keller's journey in entertainment was marked by creativity, compassion, and a deep sense of purpose. Born in Lubbock, Texas, on April 22, 1992, Keller earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts from the University of North Texas. Fueled by a lifelong love for storytelling, he moved to Georgia to pursue a career in film. He quickly made an impression, not only as an actor, but also as a director, writer, and musician. His passion was wide-ranging, from performing on screen to painting, singing, and playing guitar. Keller was known to viewers as Griffin in County Rescue, a role that showcased his depth and sincerity. The show, centered around a team of EMTs, was preparing to enter its second season, a journey he, sadly, would not complete. His castmates, including Julia Riley and Kristen Wallet, paid tribute to his kind heart and infectious joy, remembering him as a brother, both on and off set. Beyond the screen, Keller was also a champion amateur boxer, earning a gold medal in Georgia's Golden Gloves competition. His discipline and strength, whether in the ring or in front of a camera, spoke to a character that was both gentle and driven. Great American media remembered him as a special person and talent, someone whose enthusiasm lifted everyone around him. Though his time was brief, Keller Forns created a lasting legacy through his performances and the way he lived, with creativity, kindness, and genuine connection. He is survived by his wife Margie, his parents, and 2 brothers. As those who knew him gather to honor his memory, Keller will be remembered not just for the roles he played, but for the grace, talent, and heart he brought to everything he did. Dave Allen, the pioneering bassist and founding member of the post-punk band Gang of Four, passed away peacefully at home on April 5, 2025, at the age of 69, following a long and courageous journey with early-onset dementia. His family and close friends were by his side, a testament to the deep connections he nurtured over a lifetime in music and innovation. Born in England, Allen helped shape a sound that would echo through generations. As a member of Gang of Four, his signature bass lines anchored the group's bold fusion of punk, funk, and sharp political commentary. Their landmark 1979 debut, Entertainment, remains one of the most influential albums of its time, cited by critics and artists alike as a cornerstone of the post-punk movement. With hits like Damaged Goods and I Found That Essence Rare, Allen's playing gave rhythm to a rebellious new voice in music. After his time with Gang of Four, Allen continued to explore new musical landscapes. He co-founded Shriekback, where his creativity flourished in hits like Intoxication and Shark Walk. Always ahead of the curve, he later formed the indie label World Domination Recordings, supporting emerging voices through projects like Elastic Purejoy and Low Pop Suicide. Allen's journey didn't stop with music. He transitioned into the tech world, holding key roles at Intel, Beats, and Apple, bringing his visionary spirit to a new frontier. Whether on stage or in the boardroom, Allen was driven by curiosity, integrity, and a desire to shape culture. His bandmates remembered him as the Ace of Bass, a friend and artist who left behind a trail of innovation, humor, and humanity. Gang of Four. Drummer Hugo Burnham shared that their final visit was filled with joy, laughter, and memories spanning decades, reminders of a life richly lived. Dave Allen's legacy lives on in every bold note and inspired mind he influenced. He gave the world a soundtrack to think, dance, and feel, and for that, he will always be remembered. Simon Fisher-Becker, the beloved British character actor cherished for his roles in Doctor Who and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, passed away peacefully on March 9, 2025. He was 63. Known for his warmth, wit, and magnetic presence, Simon leaves behind a rich legacy across stage, screen, and the hearts of fans worldwide. Born with a love for storytelling, Simon's career took shape in the early 1990s through television roles that showcased his impeccable timing and expressive spirit. He quickly became a favorite among genre audiences, most memorably playing the cheerful Hufflepuff ghost, the Fat Friar, in the first Harry Potter film, a character etched into the magical world fans hold dear. But perhaps his most defining role came in Doctor Who, where he portrayed the enigmatic Dorium Moldovar, a black marketeer with a heart, known for his deep knowledge and dry humor. Appearing during the 11th Doctor's era, Simon brought depth and charm to a character who, though mysterious, was always a step ahead. He later reprised the role in audio dramas, delighting fans with his signature voice. Beyond these iconic parts, Simon also performed in the Oscar-winning Les Miserables, the drama series Waterside, and lent his voice to numerous podcast projects, including his final work in 2024's Jenny, the Doctor's Daughter. Off-screen, he was equally inspiring, a gifted speaker, writer, and lifelong advocate for the arts. His passing was announced by his husband, Tony Dugdale, with tributes pouring in from his agent, fans, and colleagues, all remembering him as gracious, kind, and deeply devoted to his craft. His agent, Kim Barry, called him a writer, a raconteur, and a great public speaker, noting that Simon touched lives with his curiosity and compassion. Simon Fisher-Becker will be remembered not only for the characters he brought to life, but for the joy, humility, and warmth he shared with the world. His legacy endures through stories that continue to enchant, and through the memories of all who were lucky enough to meet him. Breaking news. Today we shine a light on one of television's most iconic and complex figures, Wendy Williams. From commanding the airwaves as a bold radio host to becoming the queen of daytime talk, Wendy built an empire on wit, controversy, and raw honesty. But in recent years, headlines have taken a somber turn. As health concerns mount and legal battles unfold, many wonder, where is Wendy Williams now? And is the woman who once owned the stage being heard when she needs it most? Welcome to Who Died Today USA. In this episode, we explore the extraordinary rise, turbulent fall, and uncertain present of Wendy Williams. Her voice once reached millions, but today, her silence has raised more questions than answers. Wendy Williams was born on July 18, 1964, in Asbury Park, New Jersey. From a young age, she was a force. Her voice was loud, her opinions louder, and her ambition undeniable. After studying communications at Northeastern University, she entered the world of radio and quickly carved out a space for herself that no one else dared to occupy. With a style that was brash, unfiltered, and unapologetically her own, Wendy became a sensation in New York radio during the 1990s. She was more than just gossip. Wendy brought an investigative edge to celebrity culture, asking questions others would not, and pulling back the curtain on Hollywood myths. Her honesty got her into trouble, but it also earned her a loyal fan base who valued truth over politeness. In 2008, Wendy transitioned to television with The Wendy Williams Show. What began as a 6-week test run became a cultural phenomenon, airing for over a decade and reaching millions across the country. With her iconic "How You Doin'" catchphrase and Hot Topics segment, Wendy became the queen of daytime TV. She interviewed stars, spilled tea, and created viral moments that shaped entertainment news. But while Wendy thrived in the spotlight, she struggled behind the scenes. Her marriage to Kevin Hunter, also her longtime manager, faced turmoil amid allegations of infidelity. The pair divorced in 2020 after over 2 decades together. The emotional toll was immense, but Wendy remained public and open, choosing transparency even in heartbreak. Then came the health setbacks. In 2017, she fainted live on air during a Halloween episode, sparking widespread concern. She later revealed she had been diagnosed with Graves' disease, an autoimmune condition affecting the thyroid. The illness explained her fatigue, bulging eyes, and unexplained weight changes, symptoms she had previously kept hidden. Soon after, she began experiencing complications from lymphedema, which caused painful swelling in her legs and feet. In interviews, she showed the physical toll it had taken, lifting her leg on camera to show the swelling to her audience. Wendy never hid the reality of her struggles. She believed in showing life unfiltered, even when it was not glamorous. In 2021, after a series of health-related absences from her show, production came to a halt. Fans waited anxiously, rumors swirled. When The Wendy Williams Show was officially canceled in 2022, it felt like the end of an era. For many, it also felt like Wendy was being erased. But behind the scenes, more was happening. Wendy was reportedly placed under financial guardianship after her bank, Wells Fargo, expressed concern over potential exploitation. Legal filings followed. By 2023, her team confirmed that Wendy had been diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, conditions that affect speech, comprehension, and behavior. It was a devastating revelation. And yet, Wendy still fought. In 2024, a documentary titled "Where is Wendy Williams?" aired, intending to offer a window into her current life. What viewers saw shocked them. A woman once vibrant and commanding now appeared confused and isolated. Her family claimed she had been cut off from loved ones, living under legal constraints that left her unable to access her own money or communicate freely. Her ex-husband and family members have since filed lawsuits, calling for an end to the guardianship and demanding transparency about her condition. While some criticized the documentary for exploiting Wendy in a vulnerable state, others saw it as a wake-up call, a cry for help from someone whose voice had been silenced in more ways than one. So where is Wendy Williams now? She is reportedly living in a memory care facility in New York City, away from cameras, talk shows, and the millions who once tuned in to hear her speak. Her supporters hope she finds peace and healing. Others hope she regains the right to tell her own story. Through it all, one truth remains. Wendy Williams changed the face of American media. She broke barriers, said the unsayable, and made space for realness in a world often painted with polish. Her health struggles are real, her legal battles are ongoing, but her legacy is untouchable. She reminded us that a woman could be bold, brash, and brilliant all at once, that vulnerability and strength are not opposites, that even when the world tells you to be quiet, your voice can echo for decades. So we ask you, when you think of Wendy Williams, do you remember the drama? Or do you remember the woman who dared to speak when others stayed silent? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this tribute moved you, please like this video and subscribe for more stories honoring the voices that shaped our culture. Thank you for watching. And thank you, Wendy, for always telling it like it is.